Okay, so a bit of a surprise here. Listen, I love Micah Parsons as a player. It feels a bit just surprising given that they don't need linebackers if their linebackers can stay healthy, but that's been an issue. You know, Van Der Esch has definitely had some injuries, so they got the best player available. I think Parsons is great, and I'm not going to waste your time too much. I think that, Dallas, it makes sense to me just because they got a good player, and let's just get into the film study. So let's get right into it. Let's start things off with this play. What's going to end up happening is that this is going to be a blitz, and quite frankly, my favorite thing about Parsons is his blitzing ability, which some people might say is a bit of a concern, right? Like, why are you so hyped about a prospect if your favorite thing about him is his blitzing? But to me, I think that actually makes sense. For a linebacker, I want someone who's going to make splash plays. I'm less concerned about you making a tackle so that a guy only gains 3 yards instead of 5. To me, what I care way more about is you getting a sack, and meaning that now, they have to go, it's second down and 16 instead of whatever the play would have ended up being. I want you to force fumbles. I want you to get interceptions. Splash plays are key. Part of how you get splash plays is through blitzing. Micah Parsons is easily the best blitzer in this draft, and best blitzer we've seen in quite some time, quite frankly. So the way this play is going to work is you basically have the guard and the center are going to block two different Penn State players, and Parsons runs in between them. So hopefully he can get a straight shot to the Purdue quarterback. The issue is that the Purdue running back is going to be in blitz protection here, and he's going to pick it up pretty well. Like, watch, as you see, he notices this. So, yes, Parsons, great job. You got through the line. Everything worked out. Good burst there. But the issue is that you are going to have to get around a halfback. Not as difficult as getting around a tackle, but still relatively difficult. But watch this sidestep to avoid too much contact, and then makes a tough tackle on a good move by number 13 there. So just a incredible athletic play, and that's just kind of what he can do almost consistently. Those things don't even feel like, oh wow, great play. It just feels like, yeah, that's what he does. He's Parsons. Like, this one's another example of just what's going to end up happening on this one is I've circled him. We don't need to break down the whole play. Basically, just know that another player is going to be blitzing as well. It's kind of weird because there's only 3 players at the line, so you're going to have a 4th run in, and he's going to try and take up an offensive lineman, which could free up a clear lane for Parsons. That's what he's going to do. Mainly what I want you to watch on this play is just going to be Parsons' speed. Watch how he just breaks in, and he's going to get a straight shot. He makes this tackle, and it ends up being a pick 6. So, weird play by that Memphis quarterback. I'm not going to pretend it wasn't, but also incredible athletic play from Parsons. And again, it's the splash plays. That's a lot of what I look for. Make some game-changing plays. Yes, I want you to do the other stuff as well, but when you can make those splash plays, that's what turns you into an elite prospect, in my opinion, at the linebacker position. But all right, let's talk more traditional football. We'll talk about something like this. It's going to be a running play, so that's key. That's a big part of a linebacker's job, is to help stop the run. The Ohio State left guard is going to run out to block Parsons, but watch, again, what Parsons does well, and sometimes I feel like we don't spend enough attention on that kind of stuff. Forget about what you do poorly. What do you do well? What he does really well is his great burst, his intelligence, and his first step, his acceleration, that kind of stuff. So watch how right when this play starts, he notices this well and puts himself in position to where now the guard is a little bit over and trying to block him. Ideally, he would like Parsons essentially to be just like a half step further behind where he actually is, which would mean that you can kind of have a better angle to block him, because now you can try and block Parsons, but you're not really going to be able to do it as well. You can kind of only block him sideways. You can't really block him further down the field too much, which you would have liked to do. You would have liked to block him at more of an angle. So great first step by Parsons to read the play and put himself in position, which is, when it comes to the running game, he makes some really smart reads. Because of that, he's able to run in and make the tackle, and actually the ball ends up getting knocked out, which is, fun as well. I don't know exactly how that managed to happen, but, hey, he went for the ball. That's how it happened. Parsons was able to get the ball out, which is another one of those, make a splash play, gets forced fumbles. It's those things kind of seem like luck a little bit when you get forced fumbles, but the reality is they aren't. I mean, the better linebackers tend to get more forced fumbles, so there is a skill to it, and clearly he has that skill. This one's another great example. This one is going to be a quarterback run. So Justin Fields is going to fake the handoff, and then he's going to run the ball himself to the top of the screen, and you have Parsons, who's on that side of the field. Basically, the thought is he's going to expect a handoff. He's going to run further towards the bottom of the screen, and then Fields will get a few steps of an advantage, and he'll be able to use that to his advantage to run past Parsons. But watch how right when this play starts, you notice how Parsons, he moved in a little bit, which is expected, but he's doing a good job of sort of keeping his head up, being aware that it could be a quarterback run. So even though he does kind of have defensive back help on that side of the field, he's still being aware, and he notices where the ball is. He spots Fields running, and he's going to pay attention to that. So good read. But now, again, let's play my favorite game of where is the tackle probably going to be made. It looks like at this point, since Parsons noticed it right away, it's probably not going to be too much of a gain. It might not even be a gain. Probably what you would expect is that maybe Fields, if it's a good tackle, Fields will lose a yard. If it's not a fantastic tackle, Fields will just get back to the line of scrimmage or maybe gain a yard. Something like that, right? Around that area is where he'll probably go down. But with Parsons' speed, Fields literally doesn't move forward, period. I mean, Fields legitimately just ran in a straight line. He went to that 36-yard line and then just ran straight sideways and could never get past Parsons because Parsons is faster than Justin Fields. He ran a faster 40. He has that speed. So that's just kind of what he's bringing to the table in a lot of ways, is just insane speed, insane burst, and a lot of intelligence. And now I've got to bring up coverage. I've heard some people start saying his coverage is bad or something. I don't really know where people are getting that from. I mean, I'm not drafting him because of his coverage, but his coverage is fine. And I even spotted some pretty intelligent plays by him that a lot of guys couldn't make. I talked about, I've made comparisons to Parsons being Devin White-esque because, well, I mean, there's the obvious logic there, right? Parsons is known for his blitzing, known for his splash plays. That's what Devin White does, and I can easily see Parsons being a player like that. But one of the things that White really struggled with up until the end of last season was his coverage. However, I think Parsons is already making decisions that you'd see someone like Devin White and a lot of other rookies or young players not make. So on this play, the white circle, that's where Parsons is covering. So he's covering the zone that's currently, not all the way towards the bottom of the screen, but just one section up, which basically means that if you look at the defense's side, he's going to end up wanting to cover the eligible receiver who is second closest to the sideline to Parsons' left, which is towards the bottom of the screen. That's basically what he's going to want to end up doing. But it's a little bit difficult to do that, largely because of how everyone on Michigan is set up. For one thing, there's a halfback who, depending on which side of the field the halfback goes to, that changes where Parsons is going to want to cover. If the halfback runs to the bottom of the screen, well, then Parsons is either going to want to cover the back or the wide receiver in that area. If he runs to the top of the screen, typically Parsons would probably keep his eye on the tight end, who's currently lined up as the number 3 receiver right here. He's the number 3 receiver because he's third furthest away from the sideline. So, number 1 is closest, number 2 second closest, number 3 is the guy right next to the left tackle. So that's probably where he's going to just sort of look towards, since the back is going to eventually get further up. He's not going to be the number 4 guy, which doesn't really work that way, but kind of does. So that route is really the one that he's probably going to end up covering, just knowing what we know now. But there's a lot Parsons has to read beforehand. He has to read where the back goes. He has to read where everyone else goes. It's a difficult read for him to make, and you see a lot of young guys mess this up. But right when the play starts, you notice that Parsons, he steps in a little bit. He does read where the halfback goes. You saw him look at the halfback. Now he knows, okay, got it. So I only have 3 teammates to my right. There is 4 players in that area, so you're going to have to go over and help somebody out. You just have to assume that towards the bottom of the screen, that's going to be taken care of. There's also a safety deep who can help out as well, but the reality is for Parsons, he should know that he has to help somebody out. He does, and he's now going to read this play and cover the guy he's supposed to cover. As you see, he does, in fact, pick that up, covers the right guy, and then eventually it's a quarterback run, and guy gets crushed. Parsons never even gotten the stat sheet, but that's just a good play of showing, okay, he knows what to do in these situations. He's not a dumb guy. I keep saying he's a smart player, and that's something that he's bringing to the table as well. When you pair the skill set with intelligence, good things happen. He's a really good player. He's my favorite defensive player, and I hope this video helped explain why. So yeah, that's what I think. What do you guys think about this draft pick? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.